When he becomes president, Donald Trump is almost necessarily going to break the law in a number of different ways. And the reason for that is his continued unwillingness to separate himself from his businesses once he becomes president. And so he's going to be breaking the law, but not just in a vague way. There's a particular law that he is almost certainly going to break on day one. And it will very quickly earn him, whether he actually gets it or not, impeachment. That's the Stock Act. The Stop Trading on Congressional Knowledge Act is designed to combat insider trading. The bill prohibits the use of non-public information for private profit, including insider trading by members of Congress and other government employees. It was initially passed back in 2012, introduced, I believe, by Joe Lieberman, which I find shocking. But if so, good job, Joe. You did one good thing. We've got a quote from Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, who's also involved in it, one of the lead authors on it, who says, "You cannot trade on non-public information. That is a criminal violation of the law. President, the vice president, cabinet secretaries, all of them have to play by the same rules as every other American, and that's what the Stock Act ensures. It bars the president, the vice president, and all executive branch employees from using non-public information for private profit, such as discussions with foreign dignitaries and things like that, engaging in insider trading, or intentionally influencing an employment decision or practice of a private entity solely on the basis of partisan political affiliation. For instance, investing in a foreign country or building real estate in a foreign country based on the conversations you had as a representative of the United States."
So let me explain. The reason that they had to pass this, first of all, it applies to, Gillibrand's absolutely right, it applies to every American. It's not like it's a special law for Trump, or if they passed it back in 2012, they had no idea Trump would be anywhere near the White House, or just for the president. What it's saying is, for the president and all the people listed there, they have to abide by the same laws as the rest of us. So if you work at a company and you have some insider information about what they're about to do, and that could affect their stock price, you cannot trade on that insider information. Okay, so this is saying, well, the president and members of Congress have a lot of insider information that will oftentimes affect the markets in tremendous ways.
Yeah.
And not just the markets, but other business interests as well. And you, just like any American, cannot trade on that information, that non-public information. So
Includes Rex Tillerson.
yeah. Now, I don't think that Trump is going to be in violation of that. He doesn't have to be in violation of that for two reasons. One, of course, he could do the blind trust, but he's not going to, right? And by the way, that's part of the reason why they do a blind trust. So they say, okay, where my money is, I don't know. I've given it to a different lawyer, and he's invested in other places. Now, giving it to your kids is not a blind trust. Okay, but put that aside for a second. He could theoretically go through the whole 4 years and never trade or have any of his friends or family or associates trade on information that he has as president. So it is possible.
It's theoretically possible.
It's certainly
I would argue
possible.
many of the, granted he's not currently underneath this law, I would argue that some of his behavior already has violated the law. You can't have the representative that's running your corporation at meetings with ambassadors and the leaders of other countries. You simply can't do that, especially when it's an international company with business in that country. You can't do that.
Yeah.
She has to make business decisions related to that country. She now has information straight from the leader of that country, thanks to your position as incoming president.
Yeah, it is funny that he might be the only person to ever commit an impeachable offense before he took office. So now, in order to impeach him, you're going to have to wait till day one and have him do it again, I think. So to that point, let's say that meeting with the Japanese leaders that happened a couple of weeks ago, that Ivanka Trump sat in on, happened when he was president. And the Japanese leaders say something that is not public information. And Ivanka Trump now knows it, and that affects her business in some way. She takes some action on it. Boom. That's a violation of the Stock Act, and I don't know whether she would be criminally responsible, but Trump would.
He brought her in?
Yeah, because he's the one who is the government official that is allowing someone he knows to have non-public information and profit off of it. So those kind of meetings that he's been brazenly doing as president-elect, and my guess is will continue to brazenly do as president, are clearly violations of the law and impeachable offenses. So it is going to be a fascinating ride.
Yeah.
Because now prosecuting a president is very difficult because the Justice Department would have to do it, and it's his Justice Department.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, during the Nixon era, that wound up producing a situation so volatile that Nixon had to resign. But the only reason he resigned is because he thought he didn't have enough political support. his own party came in and talked to him and said, if they go for impeachment, we're going to vote against you. So that's why he resigned.
Yeah.
So will there be enough political pressure where they say, President Trump, if you don't stop breaking the law, we're all going to have to impeach you together? And by the way, if his successor does not pardon him, he could then
go to jail.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to chant, lock him up.
Oh, yeah.
Lock him up.
Yeah.
But right now, he hasn't done it yet.
Yeah.
Just wait for day one.
Yeah, and we understand, as we said before, him being impeached we're not free and clear then. We have Mike Pence, who's an absolute disaster. He's his own problem. But if you break the law, you should be impeached as president. And it's not just the Japan thing. Obviously, he had all of his kids sitting in on that gigantic meeting he had with all of the different Silicon Valley corporations, some of the biggest corporations in America. What did they talk about? Did they talk about their future plans? Were there questions asked about products that are going to come out? Well, all of his kids are now free to invest based on the information they were exposed to. He's going to break the law. He's going to break the law, and we're going to have to see if anybody cares about it. By the way, the Stock Act is not like, oh, the Democrats slipped it through against Republican opposition. The vote was 96-3. They understand this law. It's very recent. This isn't some arcane thing. And if he breaks it, he deserves to lose his office for it.
And so finally, look, some people say, just give the guy a chance. Just give him a chance. But I hear you on that. But we already have actions that he's taken. We already know who's going to be in his cabinet. So I gave him a chance, and he filled his cabinet with Goldman Sachs appointees and guys who...
And Exxon and CEOs.
Right, guys who filled the swamp. So, okay, I guess we're going to have to see what they do, but he said he would drain the swamp, and then he put the swamp in. It's not like that's not an action that he took. That is an action he already took. We can judge him based on that. It's not like we didn't see what he did as president-elect with the meetings that he had with foreign leaders. He already took that action.
Yeah.
So now that doesn't mean that you could convict him on anything before he gets in office. Of course not, right? But it gives you a pretty good indication of what he's going to do when he's president. And if he continues down this path, we're going to be in an unprecedented situation in maybe both meanings of the word.
Jesus.
You don't want to sign up for membership?
Wrong.
You're going to love membership. tytnetwork.com/join.